everyone, Dr. Vince Leone here with Dr. Vince Presents, and today's episode is how to run a patient reactivation campaign. And these are awesome. Let's go ahead and dive right in, okay? So, by the way, we're doing a screen flow today. I'm a little under the weather. You probably don't want to see me on camera anyways today, so I thought I'd just do a screen flow. There's a lot of information to get to anyways, so I think this is appropriate for this. First of all, why do a patient reactivation campaign? Well, quick cash flow increase, right? You're basically dialing for dollars. That is an old term from a boiler room type of situation, but you are basically calling your old patients and letting them know that you're still alive and that if they, need to see you, come on in. Now, obviously, we have a better approach than just that, but that's the gist of it. So it's easy to sell to people who already know, like, and trust you, right? So they've already been in your office. You've already given them great care. They've already most likely gotten very good results. And so those people are much easier to sell to or to work with, however, if you don't like the word sell, to work with because they've already had a good experience with you versus trying to convince a stranger to come see you. We have added revenue without any hard costs in terms of marketing numbers or dollars. Takes advantage of time and money you've already invested in these past patients to get them, right? So, and then it creates a stronger and more responsive patient base, which makes your practice more attractive and lucrative. And now, obviously, they're more responsive because you're staying in touch with them. And then finally, it creates goodwill with patients. They appreciate a personal phone call. It's kind of gone the way of the old dodo bird as actually reaching out to patients. Costs. Well, not a ton. Time invested for staff and doctor, and that's about it. If you're just playing around on Facebook at the end of the day, this is a much better use of your time. So let's look at our preparation. We'll divide patients into active and non-active. So we'll just, in your EMR system, now if you're still in a paper system, then it's going to be a little more cumbersome. But most doctors are on electronic medical record systems. So, and this is super easy. You just spit out all your patients and you figure out, okay, these are all the active patients that are being seen right now. You take those out. And this is going to give you your active versus your non-active list. And then you're just going to set aside your active list, and obviously we're just going to be working with the non-active. And we want to put our non-active patients in the following categories. The A category, which is our most going to be our most responsive or most likely to respond. So they haven't been in for 6 months to 12 months. So what that means is, so it's April. That would be what? October. So from October to April, right? So they fall in that category. Then B, 12 months to 24 months, and then C, 24 months and beyond. So obviously A is your most valuable, and we want to convert all the categories into phone lists, names, phone numbers, and if possible, the conditions that they came in with. Helps us on the call. Next. Now this is optional, but I would recommend it to create a new product or service. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be massage therapy, physical therapy, laser therapy, a new vitamin protocol. You added a new staff member. We had expanded hours. The weakest one is added a new staff member. The best one is if you add massage. But the vitamin protocol is the easiest one, right? So if you're into nutrition, and frankly, even if you're not, you can work with your rep at Metagenics or Standard Process or whatever. And because I'll never sell kind of piecemeal supplements. I sell a protocol, like 3 to 4 supplements to treat different types of things. And so these, so if it's going into flu season, you could have an immune boosting protocol, vitamin protocol. If it's, look, I don't need to spell all this stuff out for you, but get creative with it, right? Because it's essentially another reason why you're calling. First, we want to check in on them. Second, we want to tell them about something new in your office. It creates intrigue. And in terms of the biggest draw, it's typically massage. And the reason why is because they don't have to have a condition or they don't have to have something that flared up, or they don't have to have a recent accident or injury or whatever to come back in. Now, if you're a big wellness practice, then you don't need an excuse anyways. You could just call and say, hey, it's trying to get you back on that wellness protocol that we talked about, blah, blah, blah. But for massage therapy, no one needs to be in pain to go get a massage. It's a nice little treat. And if you don't have space in your office for a massage, you can always convert an exam room into a massage area and then use it on the weekends. Okay, so just get a little creative there. It maximizes time and space. And plenty of massage therapists. There's plenty out there with no jobs, so they would love to work in a chiropractor's office where they could pick up some extra days, extra patients, etc. So here's the call itself. Now it's either done by the doctor or a staff member. I feel it's more powerful coming from the doctor. The best time to call is typically towards the end of the day, like between 5 and 6, or between 12 and 1. Okay, so we don't want to bother them at work. We just want to, it's a very quick phone call. So if we can just catch them for a few minutes on their way home from work, or when they get home, or at lunch, is the most likely chance you're going to be able to get them to pick up. And then now it can be modified if you know the patient, right? If they're retired, they're Medicare or whatever, maybe they just hang out all day at home. So, the best time to reach those patients are between 9 and like noon. So you can obviously modify this as you see fit. Then here's the script itself. So, hey, Mrs. Jones, Dr. Smith here. You're a long-lost chiropractor. You want to keep it light. How are you doing today? And, they obviously respond. You go, hey, I was going over my records and I noticed that you haven't been in for a while. And when I saw you last was for that low back pain. How's that doing? And so here's the responses and what we basically will respond to that. If they're doing bad, like, oh, it's really flared up, doc. I'm so sorry to hear that. But the good news is that you responded well to care last time. How about we get you in for an exam, get an update on your condition, and get it back under control. I even added massage therapy to our clinic. I'd be happy to give you a big discount since you're a past patient of ours, and we love our past patients. So, we obviously want to be, compassionate and empathetic. So don't be like, oh yes, their back pain flared up. No, that's not the goal here. The intent here's the thing, guys. It's all about intent. It's like, these are your patients. Like, even if they haven't seen you for 3 years, they're probably out there saying, yeah, I got a chiropractor. What's his name? I think his name is Leone. He's over on 72nd. They still, most of the time, they still consider you their chiropractor. So if you go in it with with good intent, and that you're not trying to essentially boost your revenue. You're trying to help your community, help your patients, and take care of the people that trusted you with their health, before. So now, if they say, oh, I'm doing great, awesome, so happy to hear that, that you've continued to do well. One thing I know that most of our patients love is massage therapy. So I decided to finally add that to our list of services. And, as a past patient, I'd be happy to give you a big discount on your first massage if you'd like. Now, obviously, that's if you're doing massage. If there's something, another service that you've added, talk about that. If you're not adding anything and you just want to get them back on the wellness and say, I'm so glad that you're doing well, Mrs. Jones. We know that if we maintain our bodies, they will continue to operate much better and have less chance of a relapse. So, how about we get you back in to get a check and get one of your wellness adjustments, something like that. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that and you feel like it's too salesy, just say, awesome, I'm so happy that you're continuing to do well. I did want to let you know we have this new service in our office. If you or anyone else, you think could use it, please feel free to give us a call. And I just wish, hope you have a great rest of your day. Just get off the phone, no big deal. Just the fact that you're putting goodwill out there and you're reaching out, and that alone is worth the call. So what are our goals? I would think, around 20% to make an exam, right? And by the way, they're not coming in for an adjustment, all right? They need to come in for an exam, and then you determine. You have to treat them like a new patient, right? So very important, after that amount of time, they get fully evaluated, and you treat them like a new patient in terms of the processing, recommendations, and all that type of stuff. The reason why is because if they just come in for an adjustment, it really devalues it. And if they haven't been in for 6 to 12 months, they need an exam, you know? And we're supposed to do exams every 30 to 60 days. So they need an exam. And so you should treat them like that, you know, treat them properly. Now, if you call 100 patients, that's about 20 new patient exams. And if you charge for exams, which you should, you know, our exam charges range from 85 to 125. You know, at 85, that's $1,700. So now what about the other 80%? Just leave it on a great note, light and happy. You're not calling to scold them, okay? If you have an upcoming event, you can let them know about it. And you're just, like I said, you're creating goodwill by just touching base. Now they're thinking about you, which before the call, they were not. Okay, so the B&C list, we're just, you know, it's gonna be less responsive, but you're gonna follow the same procedures. Now your conversion is gonna be down, probably in the 5 to 10% range. But if you're not going to be doing anything on your downtime worthwhile, then this is a great thing to do. And you can pass this stuff off to a staff member, especially the B and C list, and in particular the C list. But you know, I just think the best way is from the doctor. Okay, so here's a wrap up. Why do we do this? Well, quick generation of cash flow. Just takes dedicated time at the end of the day or at lunchtime, creates a stronger, more responsive patient base, increased goodwill, increased revenue. And rare, right? With social media and all that type of stuff, you know, the personal touch is going out the window, okay? The rare doctor who calls his patients is, you know, will be rewarded. And it can stimulate referrals. So here's your action items. Go ahead and create your lists. Decide who's going to call, the doctor, the staff member. Set aside some dedicated time each day to make those calls. Track your stats, okay? And then have fun with this. They'll most likely be happy to hear from you. You know, this should be fun. It should not be a chore. And I would just say, you know, if you're like, well, how many calls should I make a day? Just make 10 calls. You know, big deal. 10 calls. 5 at lunch, 5 at the end of the day. Or if you want to get aggressive, do 10 at lunch, 10 at the end of the day. You know, there's no limit on this, but the key is to have a plan and be consistent with it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, guys. Please subscribe, and if you're looking for some practice building tips, go ahead and go to leoneconsulting.co, and there's a free practice building course there. 3 really powerful videos on mindset, marketing, and systems, and that I think you will really, really enjoy and could benefit from. So that's it for this episode. I'm Dr. Vince Leone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Take care.